right now, there is a good chance your phone has fecal bacteria on it. Not near you, in your hand, pressed against your face on every single call. Every time a toilet is flushed with the lid up, a fine mist launches into the air, drifts across the room and lands on your toothbrush. There is one thing you do every day that would make a Japanese person quietly recoil. The cleaner you believe you are, the more likely you're guilty of at least 3 of these. One culture built its habits around what's actually clean, the other around what merely feels clean. This isn't going to fix your whole life by the end of it. It takes about 2 minutes. 7 everyday hygiene habits the West has never questioned. According to modern microbiology, Japan is simply right, and the data backs it up. Stay with me until habit 4, because 95% of people accomplish almost nothing. Habit 2 has an actual scientific term for the mist hanging over your toothbrush. The last one happens in your hand, thousands of times a day. Japan has some of the lowest rates of hospital-acquired infection in the developed world, consistently ranked among the top handful of countries globally for public health. Let's get into it. Japan has a word for the dirt you can't point to. That word is kagare. The matching word for clearing it is harai. The same idea behind misogi, water purification practiced under freezing waterfalls for 1,000 years. Purification was never a state you reach and keep. It's something you maintain. Wash your hands once, the task is closed. Take a bath, you're clean, done. Japan draws a map instead. The entryway, the sink, the bath, the phone in your pocket. Checkpoints repeated, never declared finished for good. Keep that map in mind. Every habit on this list comes back to it. You walk straight from the car through the entryway and into the kitchen, shoes on the entire way. Those shoes crossed a gas station floor, a public restroom, a hospital corridor, a parking lot. The same floor where a child plays, where the dog sleeps. Shoe soles carry an average of 421,000 bacteria per square centimetre. Genkan, a slightly sunken step, marking exactly where outside stops. A line observed for centuries, long before any laboratory could explain why. Kagare, in its most literal form, stopped at a checkpoint instead of spreading inside. The West built a welcome mat. Japan built a boundary and asked it to stay out entirely. In most American bathrooms, the toilet and the sink share the same small room. A flush produces what microbiologists call an aerosol plume, reaching heights of up to 1.5 meters within 8 seconds of flushing, spreading across the surrounding counter within 60 seconds. Your toothbrush, sitting in its holder a few feet from the bowl, is not protected by distance. The lid goes down before every flush, always, not sometimes. Toothbrushes live in a cabinet behind a door, out of the plume's path entirely. Oterai, literally, the place you wash your hands. That's habit 2, invisible and airborne for a full minute. One country closes the lid, the other lets the plume land on the toothbrush. In a typical American bath, you wash your body in the same water you're sitting in. Whatever you're washing off stays in that water with you until you drain it. You wash and rinse your entire body first, sitting on a low stool beside the tub. Kakeiu, the pre-rinse, is why the water in a Japanese afuro is still clean when you enter it. Plenty of modern Japanese apartments have swapped the traditional setup for a Western-style combination. A body soaking in fresh hot water produces a different physiological response. Wash first, soak second. One is washing, the other is soaking in what you just washed off. The average duration is about 6 seconds. The CDC recommends 20 seconds, roughly singing happy birthday twice. Only 5% of people washed their hands long enough to actually remove pathogens. Palm to palm, circular motion. Back of each hand scrubbed with the opposite palm. Fingers interlaced, scrubbing between each one. Each thumb rotated in the opposite hand. Fingertips rotated against the palm, targeting the nail beds specifically. Japanese schools have taught this 6-step sequence since the 1980s as part of the national health curriculum. Clean hands are a duration and a sequence, and almost nobody in the West was ever taught either one. Blowing your nose audibly in public, at a restaurant table, in a meeting, on a train. Forceful nose blowing generates intranasal pressure roughly 100 times greater than a cough. Meiwaku, the trouble your own action causes someone else, even unintentionally. Quiet, contained sniffling is considered the more hygienic public option. Americans tend to push back on this. Sniffling reads as the ruder option growing up in the West. One habit protects the room and stays quiet about it, the other is just louder. Washing raw chicken before cooking it. Most home cooks consider it a sign of thoroughness. Washing chicken under a tap produces a spray radius of up to 80 centimeters. Contaminated water splashes across counters, cutting boards, and nearby utensils. Japan cooks poultry directly without washing. The heat destroys every pathogen on the surface. Shokuku, food education, written into Japan's national curriculum as law in 2005. Washing chicken was never the safety step. It was the delivery system. You touch your phone an average of 2,617 times a day. You set it on restaurant tables, on public bathroom counters, on gym equipment. Then you pick it up and hold it against your face. 1 in 6 mobile phones carries fecal bacteria on its surface. Phones carry 10 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. Tomoto, literally at hand, the things you keep closest, within constant reach. Japan maintains a broader cultural awareness of what has and hasn't been cleaned. The kagara that builds quietly in the places you touch again and again. Hygiene was never about fighting the dirt you can see, it's about respecting the residue you can't. The dirtiest object was never the one you feared, it was the one you've been holding this entire time. Question 1. Is this something the outside world is bringing in, or already living inside? Question 2. Have you actually finished or stopped at the point that merely felt like enough? Question 3. Is this habit protecting the people who share this space with you? 3 questions, 30 seconds, run against your own routine. If a habit in your life fails all 3, that's the first one worth changing. None of this fixes your whole routine tonight. Closing a lid takes 6 seconds. Which number surprised you? Tell me 1 through 7 in the comments. Send this to one specific person who considers themselves clean. See you in the next one.